Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. Want to talk today about a couple of Mike Austin concepts that if you follow him at all, you've probably heard the terms before I'm going to use. I'd like to delve deeper into them, hopefully expand your understanding about these concepts and help you hit the ball longer and straighter off the tee. You know, Mike was quite a pioneer. Sure, he was a large, brutish, long-hitting guy, but there was this also a crazy, ultra-intellectual side of him. Mike just simply talked and walked like a medical textbook. He knew every nerve and joint and muscle involved in every part of the backswing and the downswing. He was just amazing to listen to. I don't know where he got all this knowledge from. It's just something that's completely unexplainable. But one of the concepts that Mike used to talk about very commonly was a phrase he used called under, up, and out. So if you follow Mike at all, and if not, I would encourage you to do some digging on Google. Go to my site, HitItLonger.com. I've got tons of information on Mike there. Do some research on him. You see that he was more than just a brutish guy. Great, interesting character, almost like from folklore. Really unique. But so use this phrase under, up, and out quite a bit. So let's get to the three components: under, up, and out. Okay, we're starting with the under, because not only does it come first in the phrase, but it happens first of any of the three. And that is, the under represents essentially a lateral shift, large lateral shift in the lower spine, like a pendulum, towards the target, this way, which causes our spine to end up at what we'd call a secondary tilt. So what's the primary tilt? Is the amount of bend that we have forward on this plane. So a secondary tilt would be the tilting of the spine, because see, the belt buckle, the center of my pelvis is now on top of my left heel, while my C7, or let's call it my head if you want to just be simple, is still in the middle of my feet. This enables me to achieve a 1 foot balance, and it's a special angle here that's going to set us up for the correct hit through the ball. So that is the under. What the under gives you in the tilt of the spine this way, and I'll set up on the perpendicular so my spine is a T to this club shaft. This motion is simply setting the right hip and shoulder below the left. That's the under. It's the right side of the body now tilted and able to work under and around the left. Notice I've done more than just tilted the spine. I've also shortened the right leg by flexing the knee in towards the center and rolling in and detaching my right heel from the ground. So this is going to set both my hip and my shoulder in a low position so that the right side of the body can turn under. Over would look like, if there was no secondary tilt or less, over would look like this. No lateral flexion of the hip, just turning in place, shoulders more level. It sends my right shoulder into an over position or over the top. So once you have done the under and you've gotten to the under position, which would look like this, here I'm in the under position and I'm starting to turn into and through the ball. This is going to set us up for the up and the out. The up and the out are simply their release mechanisms, or vectors, you might say. See, once I am tilted in the secondary manner here, the thrust of my throw of the club is going to be upwards. It's going to be almost perpendicular to the angle of my spine. So here I am under. The free throw of the club is now going to be in an upwards fashion, and that's going to give us our positive angle of attack. It gives us a good visual, but the positive angle of attack is going to end up leading us to a lot more distance compared to level, going around level and hitting down on the ball. I also, like I said, I feel it like it's a visual that I'm throwing the club head up to the sky, not low and around, but up and around to the left on the arc. And again, that fosters that nice upward strike off a nice high tee. Now, thirdly, the out in the phrase under, up, and out. The out has been commonly misinterpreted as an out to the right, like this. But that's not the case. You see, Mike wanted us to turn ourselves into centrifugal force machines, he used to call it, which means the out literally represents out away from the sternal slot or the C7. It means out into space or orbiting with an increased radius. So the out, and I'll do it from this angle, represents starting back here, uncocking the wrist and throwing out away from the center of the body rather than trying to pull or maintain. This does not increase the radius of the orbit of the club around me. Right from near the top of the swing, I am trying to increase and maximize that radius. So I am trying to throw the club out into space. If I could throw hard enough, then my arm would come off with it and it would go out into space with the club. So that way you actually feel a pulling force acting on your arm this way, and you feel like it's getting pulled, and you're simply relaxing and just embracing and going with that pull of the left arm. It's not a sense of rigidity that you go into the ball with a straight arm, but rather than a response to the outwards throw of the club, which culminates in its widest about 30 inches past the ball. So here I am in the under position. The club is starting to turn up, and right about 30 inches past the ball, I'm feeling the most outwards pull. And the club is on its way still up and around to the left after that. So hopefully that clears up and describes the under, up, and out of Mike Austin's golf swing that he used to talk about all the time. I hope you'll use these concepts to get yourself longer and straighter down the fairway. I'm Steve. Thanks a lot to Golf Development Complex here in Moore Park, California. Please come out and see us sometime, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. Thanks.